Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to Midlife Talkshop with Rhonda and Shannon. Midlife Talkshop's a podcast dedicated to inspiring conversations around health, reinvention, longevity, and living vibrantly in midlife and beyond.
Yes, indeed. And today we are here to talk to Rhonda about a recent trip that she made to Europe for 16 days. And Rhonda is going to share with us all of the do's and don'ts of the trip and of traveling in Europe. So
yes, but what about that purple zone air? I just want to before we go into that, Shannon, I came back from Europe and it was hot those last 4 days in Paris, but I came back and it was unprecedented. We had this purple zone air from the fires in Canada. We literally could not go outside. We could not breathe, but thank goodness that's passed, right?
Yeah, that was a little strange. It was like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
And it was smoky and hazy and not very healthy to be outdoors for about 2 straight days.
That's right. We were going to go to a concert. We couldn't go with our friends.
Luckily, the wind and the rain came and blew it away.
Yes, and we got some relief, finally.
So it is a beautiful sunny day today with very low humidity, and I'm getting ready to travel to the beach for our annual Sandbridge, Virginia Beach vacation with the family. Looking forward to it. But before I do that, we're going to get down to the important do's and don'ts of traveling abroad.
Right. So first of all, I hadn't been abroad in a while, and I was a little nervous, and we were going for, I think it was a total of 17 days. We spent the first day in D.C., which was fun. But yeah, I've got some good do's and don'ts for traveling abroad, and something that you might not think about.
Well, for one thing, when you start packing for a trip like that, especially one that's going to go 2 weeks.
Yes.
The tendency is to probably overpack. But
Which I
did. I think, Rhonda, you have some tips on just not overpacking.
Well,
tell us more about that and why it is that you shouldn't overpack.
I mean, everyone says it. First of all, I have a tip for you guys. Buy the air tags and put them in your luggage. Just zip it up somewhere so that way you've got complete control, and if something happens to your luggage or it gets lost, you will know exactly where it is. So that's one thing that we did differently that we hadn't done before.
So
that's one tip.
How does an air tag work? What do you do?
Well, it's just it's a little round button and you just put it in. I'd like to put it on my dog in case he gets out the door.
Does it have an adhesive back, or how do you attach it?
No, I just put it in like the little zip part of the suitcase, or you can just stick it in the bottom of the suitcase, and it's like an app on your phone.
Okay.
And you can just always keep an eye on it and you'll know where it is.
So you can locate the thing that you have the air tag on through the app.
Exactly. So that's one tip.
That's great.
And then the other thing is, as I was packing for these 2 weeks, I did check the weather, and in Belgium it was 75, 80s, and then I did see when we first landed it was going to be really hot. But so I was just torn, like, is it going to be cool at night? Is it going to be hot? But what I did was I did overpack. And there's a couple reasons why you don't want to do that. Because A, you're going to want to buy souvenirs and maybe bring some things back for your friends and family. So you want to leave space for that. And not to mention, if you're going to Paris, for example, like I did, you might want to buy a piece of clothing or some things there that you wouldn't find here in the States. So definitely just take less than you think. You don't need 5 pairs of shoes. You just need 2 or 3, and you don't need 3 or 4 jackets to go with every outfit. Pick one jacket that will go with all your little sundresses, because I think that was my mistake. I thought it was going to be cooler than it was because I didn't need all of that.
And it ended up being very much hotter than you anticipated, from what I hear.
Well, the last 4 days and the first 2 days of the trip were exponential. It was so hot. Like it was, I think we heard on the news that 1,300 Parisians died from the heat wave over there. Because
they got the heat wave ahead of when we got the heat wave, because we got it right behind.
That's right.
Europe. And it was like a heat dome was over top of us, and it just felt like we were cooking.
I think 1,300 Parisians died from the heat. They don't
really have AC over there,
No, they don't have AC, so that leads me to another tip. You're going to want my husband was very brilliant, and he ordered 2 little fans that you wear around your neck, and I would have never thought about doing that, but let me tell you, when you're on the train, or even if you're going through the museum, the Louvre we went through, and if it's just so hot, you can just turn that little fan on. It cools you off. You can breathe. It makes a huge difference. So I thank him
these
every
are
day
fans
for that.
that you can order off of Amazon?
Amazon, yeah.
Okay, we'll include a link in the show notes to the travel fans that Philippe purchased for you all. And it's on a rope around your neck, and you're just able to always like open it up and press play, and it's just blowing.
And you charge it like your phone. You just plug it in. It charges like you do your iPhone.
Yeah.
And it's
fans.
awesome. And boy, did we try. I'm telling you, it got me through the first night. This is a horror story, but the first night we landed in Paris. And it was really hot. Took the train into Brussels, and we stayed in this B&B with no air conditioning on the second floor. Walk up, and we had all these giant luggages. It was just a nightmare, and it was super hot. And you know what we had to do to survive?
What?
I had to fill, thank gosh, they had this grand, giant bathtub, and I just filled it with cool water, actually, not cold. And through the night, we actually had to get up and just soak ourselves in the tub to stay cool.
So that was your air conditioning?
Yes.
A cool bath.
Yes, and it lowered my body temperature, and I had that little fan around my neck to up my nose so I could breathe. That's how horrible it was. And that was I thought this was going to be a terrible trip. But after that, the temperatures did go down back to 75. And in Belgium, it was relatively very cool. I even wore a jacket at night. So it was just that one night that was really bad.
So the number 3 tip on the travel fan, you were making fun of Philippe ahead of the trip that he would buy such a silly fan, and then you were praising him and saying, "Thank God,
thanking him, kissing him. Thank you so much." And my daughter, we both had one because you could get into a taxi with no air conditioning. Oh, and that leads me to another tip.
Well, that's tip number 4, which is you were talking about Uber versus taxis in Europe. Tell us about that.
So we found when we did an Uber, they were the people were so friendly, so kind, so helpful. They guided us on what to see and what to do. They even would take us around to places, like streets that they wanted us to see. Where I found, especially in Paris, sometimes the taxi drivers were rude. They were just not kind. They didn't talk. My husband is from Brussels, so he can speak French. And that was very helpful, actually. But basically, we would definitely go Uber all the way. Absolutely.
So does the Uber app work over there like it does over here?
Exactly the same.
Great.
Yeah. So that's what we use mostly, but we did have to take a few taxis. So
now you were telling me about, on to tip number 5, you were telling me about euros in certain countries. So tell us about that.
So my husband being European, he made sure that we had in our passports. He gave Ava, my daughter, and myself, he gave us cash, American cash, and he gave us euros to put in our passports in case anything happened. We get separated or something happened. We always had cash on us all the time. And then another thing that I've forgotten about because it's been a while, but you guys, if you're going to Europe, in the train stations, the public places, the malls, even a McDonald's, we were in Bruges in Belgium, we thought, let's just run to the restroom. Well, guess what? They charge you $1 to €2 to go to the potty. So you want to make sure you have some change or your phone, with the credit card in your phone, to be able to go to the restroom,
So do you have to use euros to pay?
No, I had to use I could use my credit card on my phone, and we did have euros as well. But, they have the other, on the other note, they have people that are behind there cleaning them, keeping it clean. They have things in there if you need them, supplies. So, but it's just a racket. I swear it is a racket,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next helpful tip. An Airbnb versus an apartment rental or a hotel. Tell us what you feel about that.
Okay, so the last 4 days of our trip, we were in Paris, and we ended up staying one day in a nice, really quaint, beautiful, boutique hotel with air conditioning. It was awesome and clean and nice. But I have to say, we had rented an apartment, which was on the ground floor next to the Seine and the Notre Dame. And it was amazing. So what I saw there is it's less money. It was less money, and we had so much space. A washer and dryer if you're sweating through your clothes and you need to do a little laundry, which you would not have in the boutique hotel. So I found that you get more space, and you just get the feeling of what it's like to live in that country, being in a little apartment. And it was really quaint, and I loved it. So definitely check out the B&Bs and the little apartments over there versus the hotels.
Yep. And how about boat rides? Tell us about boat rides over there.
So when you're in Europe, of course, you're going to look at churches, these gorgeous churches, and you're going through museums, and you're walking like 20,000 steps a day, and you just want to make sure, you take a break. So I would look forward to the meals that we had, and also with a boat ride, you get to take a break off your feet. You get to listen to the tourist guide tell you about the country, like Belgium and Paris. They have canals, you have the Seine, but especially in Belgium, you have have Antwerp, Bruges, and Ghent, and they're all a very canal. And also we went to Amsterdam. So take that boat ride. Give your feet a break. They'll take you to see sometimes places where you would not otherwise be able to see on foot. And you get a little tour guide. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Okay. All right. I love the idea of taking a boat ride and how sometimes the waterways there are very much like the streets here. So
Right.
instead of getting into a vehicle, you're getting into a boat.
And everybody's waving at each other, and we went across this under a famous bridge where they said, touch it, because it's gives you good luck, and it's the most romantic bridge in Belgium, and you get little stories that you wouldn't otherwise get. So even a walking tour probably would be good too, but you get to feel that breeze on the boat, and it was really enjoyable.
Yes. And how about, you need to make room, like you said, for some souvenirs.
Yes.
So what were some of the fun souvenirs? I am wearing a souvenir that Rhonda brought back to me, and so is she.
Yes.
We have our I Heart Paris t-shirts.
Yes.
What are some of the other fun souvenirs that you found or that you were able to pick up with your family that really showed just the culture and...
I love Paris. I think it's one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I really do. And I bought some trinkets back, like I think for my family, like T-shirts, and I bought a Paris mug because I love drinking my coffee and tea every morning, and maybe even a Paris little tote bag, and just little trinkets that'll keep that memory alive and make you maybe want to go back and visit again, because I really recommend Paris. It's just beautiful. And also love Rome and London and Switzerland. I mean, there's just so much to see and do in Europe, and it really motivated me to want to go back. I think next year I'm going to try to do Italy.
So one of the last tips that you were talking about is the importance of just staying hydrated.
Yes.
You might not think about it,
Right.
but all the walking that you did, I think you were telling me the amount of steps that you were getting in each day.
And especially on the plane, a lot of people want to start their holiday off with a cocktail on the plane, and I probably did that. But you definitely want to follow it up with water, lots of water. You can get, you just need to have hydration when you're flying.
Is it easy to get clean water
Dries
while
your
you're
skin
there?
out when you're up in that air. Is it hard?
Is it easy to get clean water?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's drinking bottled water. Oh, and there's another tip that my daughter wanted me to share. She thinks is brilliant that they do over in Europe, is that something that's different than what we do is that on all the plastic bottles, when you open the plastic top, it stays attached. Whereas ours comes off and we drop it and we lose it and we got to find it, but theirs stays attached. So I thought that was a little cool little bit of information.
So you're basically drinking bottled water while you're there.
We drink a lot of sparkling water and flat water. I mean, we drank a lot of water.
Yeah.
And then I drank a lot of alcohol too, which is what you do in Paris, a little vino here and there, and you're eating all those croissants and the food. It did not disappoint. It was so much fun.
So our next episode will be how to recover from your trip abroad and get back into your health and wellness routine.
Oh, my goodness.
So those are all great tips. I love hearing, just personalized tips that I might not otherwise know of. And I've actually never traveled to Europe. I've been to Japan and I've been to Caribbean locations, but never to Europe. So that's definitely on my bucket list.
Yes.
So thanks for sharing those tips. Can you just give us an idea of the different cities that you traveled to during your 17 days?
Okay.
And what were some of the highlights of the cities and what were some of your favorites?
Right. Okay. So we went into Belgium first of all, and we went to check out all the little towns. My husband is from Brussels, so we went to Bruges, which is an old canal city. We also went to Antwerp, which is a really more of a modern city with lots of stores and shopping. And then I think one of our favorites was Ghent. And Ghent's history began in like 630 AD. And it started blooming around the 13th century. And cloth was its trade. And it was Europe's second largest city after Paris. So get this. Ghent was the second largest city than Paris. And we went up this medieval castle, and we were listening to all the details about it and all the drama and the horrible things that kind of happened back in the day. They were so violent, Shannon. They literally tortured the crap out of you. They pull your bodies apart, and they got married, of course, very young, but it was just the three of us that day, and we had a beautiful lunch, and it was the sunset and a beautiful dinner. I mean, it was just lovely, you guys. And then we went to the seaside, Ostend and Westend also, and we just hung out by the seaside, had some ice cream and some lunch, and But Paris was a lovely way to end the trip. Oh, and by the way, I did go to Amsterdam for one day to visit a friend. So that was hustling and bustling. I think the last time I was there, it was during the winter time. It was so busy, tons of people. I saw fashion models walking by. I saw all these business people. And I think my daughter and I, we had a night, it was actually her birthday that day, July 3rd. And we did a nice lunch and then we did some shopping. But yeah.
Sounds nice.
It was so fun.
So you ended the trip in Paris.
Yeah, the last 4 days were in Paris, and what a great way to wind down.
What was your favorite part of Paris?
Oh, my goodness.
I've watched the show Emily in Paris.
Yeah.
And that's so fun to watch. It kind of makes you want to be there in the thick of it.
Yeah.
But you were actually there. So you were Rhonda in Paris.
Yeah, I lived in New York City, so I'm used to being in a big city, and, I lived there for a long time. But the thing with Paris, it's just so romantic. I mean, it's the Seine, the bridges, the lights at night, the Eiffel Tower. We went by and saw the Eiffel Tower at night. We went to this place. I know I'm going to trash the name. My daughter was saying it with me this morning. The last day, it's Marmont, and it's like on the top. It's the top of the city, and it overlooks everything. You see the light of the Eiffel Tower. It's this quaint old part of Paris, like a part of it. And it's just little windy streets and quaint little restaurants, and it was just so beautiful.
Well, what we'll have to do is include photos.
Yes, I want to add one more thing.
To everywhere that you went.
We went to Versailles. We went to Versailles, which is about a 45-minute drive outside of Paris. We had a great driver, and that was just amazing. And then, to think that you're, walking where Marie Antoinette and Louis the 16th and 15th lived, and all of these the royalty back then walked the same steps, and the history is just, I love history, so I really got into it. And then what you can also do is, which I highly recommend, is you get in a golf cart. You get in a golf cart after you've done Versailles inside, and they'll take you around to these two other castles there, and you see the grounds, which are stunning and beautiful, and it also gives your feet a break again. And my husband had picked a really sweet, I can't remember the name, but it was like a very nice restaurant where they were dressed back in that period of time. It was a very elegant place and just lovely, Shannon. You got to go.
It just sounds wonderful. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad that you were able to have that experience and share part of it with us.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is at the end of the episode, we will gather all the photos and links from all the places that you've been talking about.
Okay.
And if you want to drop us a comment and notate Europe in that comment, we will DM you a list of links to everything that Rhonda's been talking about, the places, the restaurants, the Airbnb. And the top ones that you would recommend.
Okay, absolutely. And you know what? As we're sitting here, Shannon, I'm thinking, what's on your bucket list? What's a place where you'd like to go that you've never been?
I want to go to Italy.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think that's next. I was sitting next to some Floridians at dinner one night in Paris, and they were telling me what they did. They went to London for like 3 days, 3 days, and then they went to Italy, and their kids were our age. We have children their age, 15-year-old and maybe a 12-year-old, and the kids loved Italy, the food, the experiences. So that's next for me too.
I have 2 questions. Mm-hmm. One is, how long should the trip last? Is 2 weeks too long? Is it, what's the sweet spot on the amount of time to be away in Europe? And secondly, do they speak English when you're over there, or do you have to have a good amount of that particular country's language under your belt in order to get along okay?
Well, like I said, I found a lot of people could speak English. Sometimes no, and Philippe came in handy being in Belgium and France. That's why I like England, because you can't go wrong there. But Italy, I think it just depends. If you're in a small, quaint little town, they might not know English, but a lot of people, you can get by in Rome and in the bigger cities like the Amalfi Coast, which I want to see, Tuscany, Florence. I really want to go there. I have been to Rome and Umbria, but I want to go back because it really was incredible. And Shannon, the churches in Rome, they're so ornate. It's just, I remember walking out having just chills all over my body. The Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo's artwork everywhere.
Amazing.
It's incredible. But yeah, and as far as time, we were there, I think, too long because we actually got to stay in my husband's brother's house for a week, which made us stay longer. Anyway, bottom line is I would say 10 to 12 days. You need 2 days for travel. You're going to need a couple days to get acclimated to the time. But yes, definitely, I'd say 10 to 12 days.
Okay. Well, thank you, Rhonda, for sharing all the tips.
You're welcome,
And
Shannon.
like I said,
So fun.
we'll do a great document with all the links to the things that you've talked about and share that with our listeners.
And I want you to have a wonderful week off, Shannon. You relax, kick back, and enjoy the beach, okay?
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, you guys, enjoy the rest of summer.
Enjoy it.
All right.
We'll
bye.
be back.
Okay, bye.
Please follow Midlife Talkshop Podcast on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Hit the like button, leave us a comment, and share with your friends.